Hi, folks. It is Tuesday, August the 18th, and Larry will probably need to do a shorter program today and save a little bit of his strength because he'll do Jason in 1 hour. And so we'll get a little bit of duplication, but not all. He always has something new to share for the next show. So glad to have you here. Larry's medical bills are starting to come in fast and furious, and he could sure use some help. And his PayPal account is across the screen here. I'm killing a little time, Larry, while I'm waiting to see that people have joined us. So it takes a with the delay. Now we're at 21, so take it away.
Okay, well, folks, I want to prepare you for something that is historic. Historic, it always happens. When the Democrats hold their convention, they get a bump in the polls. And then everybody gets all panicky. And then the Republicans have their convention. And then they take it over, and so it's back to what it was. So don't be deceived if you are told that the Democratic Convention put Trump down, because it hasn't. Now, Trump is using a smart strategy that no president's ever done before. I think it's neat. He's going around to every night of their convention, he's going to have some event of his own. And that's pretty slick. You know, Trump still to this day, withstanding the COVID virus, Trump still to this day can pack an arena big time. I wonder if the Democrats doing theirs in a virtual format. I wonder if that's really because their attendance would be so far down that they don't want to be shamed by Trump and his draw.
I don't know. Larry, I think that's a suggestion that we need to talk about among, we need to share that idea with other people, because if he can still pack a crowd, it may, and he's going to go ahead and do that, then it seems like that's a valid point. That's for sure.
Well, I just beg everybody in our group, do not be deceived. There's a whole lot of lying going on. There's a whole lot of misdirection going on. Don't buy into it. Don't fall into it. Now, the other thing, imagine this, while the Democrats are while they're literally having their convention on TV, a young man is beat, knocked unconscious in Portland. But what is significant to me about the beating in Portland? It was a white Black Lives Matters person. White. And I've told y'all since day one.
It was
when you see
It was the Black Lives Matters person is the one that did the kicking and beating.
Yeah. Now, folks, where this guy was with his truck wasn't anywhere near the downtown or whatever area of Portland that they have pretty well destroyed. He wasn't near that. He was way out there, way several blocks away from it. And they still caught him and still beat him. And they're lucky. The guy that beat him, and the police are looking for that guy. The guy that beat him is lucky, because he could have been killed. Now, talking about how effective their leadership is. Well, if it's that damn effective, why is it that in every democratically controlled city where they've got absolute power of the city, meaning the governor, the mayor, the city council, etc., why is it that those are the places where these riots are taking place?
Oh, but they're peaceful protests, aren't they?
Well, yeah, and they're peaceful if you consider there were less people shot than expected. There's still people shot, but just less than, people are claiming might happen. Anyway, that's enough talk for me because I am going to break early. Have we got any questions anybody wants that I could possibly answer?
Well, there's a question. Somebody's thinking about Julian Assange again. Do you know anything about what's coming up for him?
Do not.
Okay, and then somebody was suggesting that Kasich was paid $5 million for talking last night. And
I don't know if that's true or not. Now that's another thing about this Democratic Party. Bill Clinton gets 5 minutes, but here's what's funny. AOC gets 1 minute. 1 minute. I mean, they're just bringing person after person after person, and they're doing exactly what I told y'all they were going to do. They're not running to elect Biden. Yeah, they throw good words out about him, but this whole convention is designed to make any and everyone that follows it hate Trump so much that they'll get up and go out and vote to get him out. Storming us in the middle of a forest fire. Now, if you don't believe me on that, listen to Michelle Obama's speech. She said, I'm paraphrasing, she said, if we truly want change, then you must get out and vote no matter what. You must. It doesn't matter what's going on. You must vote. Now that was 2 licks right there. One, that's the same thing I've been saying to y'all about our side. But there's something about Michelle Obama. She said change. Fundamental, remember she was the first one that said fundamental change for our country. Folks, they're loading up their guns. And they didn't have a convention in some convention center because half the people wouldn't show up, and when half the people wouldn't show up at an assembly that's as bad as theirs are, then it would look like the room was just empty. And I don't know how many people, well, now let me ask you this, Mary Ellen, or somebody tell me this. Was the convention carried on all 3 networks during prime time? I mean, what did they actually show it live?
I don't know because I don't have TV, so I don't know.
Well, somebody will answer us. Any questions come in?
Is the post office, somebody said the news was just that the post office is suppressing voters' mail-in until the election is over.
No. Well, that's the risk we run by doing this mail-in ballot. Look at what Michelle Obama said. She told in her speech, get your voting ballot now. And the minute, it opens, but she said something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think she said, well, she may have said send it in right away, but I heard just a snippet. I was on the phone, but I heard a snippet where she said something like, give them your ballot, take it down. So I don't know which it was. Somebody can tell me. But I'm still waiting. Did anybody see the Democratic convention on all three major networks?
2 people said yes, it was. 1 person said they only saw it on 1 station. Somebody else said it was on all 3 channels.
Now, I'm glad you told me that, because folks, think about it. They carried theirs on all 3 networks, we assume. What do you bet they don't carry Trump's on all 3 networks?
Yep.
Now, if they do that, folks, then it's time for us to elevate our energy big time. Big time. To get Trump elected.
And Oprah is starting a strong campaign for Black women to get registered through her website. She's, of course, strongly opposing Trump.
Well, let me tell you a little bit of a history thing for us here in Arkansas. The racial stuff in Arkansas had all but gone away. It was just forgotten, and everybody was living peacefully. Now, I don't know in the ghettos and the big cities, maybe that's not true. Here in Arkansas, it was, racism was just finally gone. And then Obama gets elected president, and I promise you, he set us back 50 years in racism. 50 years, he set us back. And it wasn't the white people. He was motivating the blacks.
With hate,
now,
yeah.
Folks, think about it. The blacks are truly 12-13% of the entire population, which I agree on. I agree. I agree that historically, 2 generations ago or however long ago, they were stepped on and mistreated. And I agree that going back to pre-Civil War days, blacks were treated merely like animals. I agree to all that. But what does that have to do with today? Do we not fight a war with Japan? Did Japan not kill thousands of American soldiers in horrible ways with their samurai swords, cutting the heads off? Did we not fight Germany? Did they not kill Americans? And Hitler just nearly destroyed the world? Well, is anybody calling for reparation from those 2 situations? Look, we now deal with Japan. We now deal with Germany. As a matter of fact, Germany now is one of our closest allies in the Euro. That's right, that's true. But here in our country, Black Lives Matters is using everything they got to get the blacks fired up so much that they'll vote. It may work.
And they may, I would imagine they're going to blame Trump for not stopping it. And that's where we have to come in, folks, because Larry's told us that Trump cannot go into the cities and stop anything unless he's asked, or unless they attack a federal building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's something that's not stressed enough. I don't care how bad it is, and President Trump needs to go in. He wants to go in, and he knows what I know. If we go into these places with a modest force, they'll shut it down in a hurry. In a hurry. The police in Portland were not even near where this guy was getting hit. They didn't show up where this guy was until later. And they said that they don't go near the rioters because they could be used as a flashpoint. So finally, they go to where this guy is beat up. I think his wife's beat up as well. I mean, think about that, guys. You need to count. Black Lives Matters. You need to count how many whites you see versus blacks.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Yeah, there was apparently a story about a big ship going to Gitmo. Do you know anything about what's happening in Gitmo?
There was a story about what?
A big ship going over to Gitmo?
No. And I know this, if there's some kind of mysterious mission for a big ship going to Gitmo, and big ships go to Gitmo obviously quite often because they have to, have stuff brought into them. But if somebody believes that there is some nefarious activity, let me assure you, no.
Someone was claiming today that Trump's been instrumental in doing a lot against pedophiles in Europe. So that
I don't know how he could affect pedophiles in another country. I just don't know. If he did, more praise to him.
Yeah. All right. The other thing was what I mentioned just before we started, that Lisa Haven was showing a bunch of cages that had been found by some guys in California. And so they're asking with toilets in them. And she was suggesting it was probably for FEMA, not for prisons. So.
That's not true. It's not true. Now, I'm not saying the cages don't exist, but it's not part of a FEMA occupation system. If I had to guess, if this really exists, if they really exist, if I had to guess, one of the big problems that the law enforcement has at a big riot or rally that turns into a protest riot, and they have to arrest people and break it up, I can see where they would want these cages available because the jails won't handle them anyway, too big. But, you could kind of hold people in these cages until the crisis is over. Now, if that's the truth, then if they do exist, I'm going to lean more that way. But folks, trust me, I know FEMA. I know what's fixing to happen with FEMA. FEMA, according to the source I have, FEMA is close to activating, and it can't be stopped. Remember what I've always told you about FEMA? There's two ways FEMA can go in with kind of like martial it's an emergency, the president can declare it. The other is if it's major riots in 5 major cities, then it goes off automatically. We're close, if not there. We're close, if not there, and I expect they would spring that after their convention and drop that on the Republican convention. Speculation on my part about when it could be sprung.
Did you just say you think it could be sprung during the Republican convention?
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
And the Democrats are going to try to do that to get everybody mad at him?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just saying it's a possibility, folks. Don't go taking it and saying I absolutely know. And I'm just saying it's a possibility. And by the way, it's hard for me to see how all of those people can show up at this Democratic convention, albeit virtual. I couldn't show my face. I would be too ashamed to show my face when all the riots have taken place or are taking place still. They were in Democratic-controlled cities. Democratic-controlled city, which is the mayor, the council, whatever. And in most cases, it's in a Democratic state. So when they talk about their leadership and how we need change, that's what you're looking at. Yeah. I don't think we need any change like that myself.
No.
Anybody else with a question?
Yeah, is the Queen of England stepping down? Isn't the UK one of our best allies? And what do you think of Queen Elizabeth?
And what do I think of what?
Queen Elizabeth?
Not much. She is not a factor anymore. Now, I don't believe she's stepping down. They have a tendency with royalty to stay in a place until they die off. I mean, they look, guys, the royal family doesn't do anything now for the people. The royal family is just the royal family for pictures and events, but they're not a part of running the country. What else in that question did I not answer?
The UK, you mentioned Germany being one of our closest allies, and somebody jumped on that and was saying, well, what about the UK?
Well, the UK obviously is probably our biggest ally in Europe. I was just making the point that here we are today, after all that Germany did and all Hitler did and Germany did to the world. Shoot, now they're one of our biggest allies.
Right. All right,
What else?
that's it. That's it, and that'll give you 35 minutes. So.
All right, folks, I need help now, please, if you can. And I'm sorry about going off, but there's no sense in me saying the same thing twice, if you understand. So let me get off. I'll see you all again at 3 with Jason. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks,
All
Larry.
right, babe. Thank you.
Okay, bye. All right, guys. So if anybody can help, Thomas, I put my phone number in. I'm going to tell you it, 240-499-6729. I'm pretty sure I've got it in the description box below the video. Text me. I can tell you how to do Western Union. That's one of the ways that we have sent money. And now that I'm close enough, I can actually take care of it and he won't have to pay somebody to go pick it up for him. So, a Visa debit card. Scott, we can do Zelle. We can do bank to bank with Zelle. I have done that for people before. So again, send me a text 240-499-6729, and we can figure something out with that. Western Union, of course, will take a debit card. I think they take a debit card, don't they? I think I know they'll take a credit card. So if you can use it as a credit card, that'll work. So I know Western Union has a fee, but PayPal has a little fee too. So, and Zelle, Zelle. It's a bank to bank transfer without having to. It's a free transfer system without having to pay a wire transfer fee, which is normally $20 per wire. But Zelle does it free, bank to bank, and all you need is my bank name and my name to get it into my account so that I can take the money. The phone, my phone number is 240-499-6729, and we've got half an hour to talk right now. But of course, by 3 o'clock, I'm going to be on with Jason. So to find Larry with Jason, go to YouTube, Jason Goodman, crowdsource the truth, or crowdsource the truth, and the numeral 2. Crowdsource the Truth 2 is his backup channel, and he puts it on both. And I think Jason Goodman was his old channel, and he had to do something new. Anyhow, I don't remember for sure. I don't know if he's going to be posting it here. I need to have him not do that anymore now that Larry's back, because he uses up our time and sometimes forgets to turn it off, which really uses up the 20 hours a month that we get free with StreamYard. So anyhow, that's it, folks, for today, and we'll see you in the chat on Jason's show in half an hour. And let me know if you need to do some way other than Larry's PayPal to get funds to him. And I'm pretty sure I put my phone number in the description box below. So God bless you guys. We'll talk tomorrow. I'll see you in Jason's chat in half an hour. Bye.